Who or what might be returning with this retrograde? So Mercury retrograde isn't just about communication going haywire or technology glitching, although yes, that too. But at its core, Mercury retrograde is a cosmic invitation to revisit, reflect, and realign, and it often brings back people and patterns and possibilities from the past. So let's take a peek. Bottom of the deck, we've got the Ten of Cups. This came out in yesterday's reading. We've also got the Moon, the Seven of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Four of Swords. So it feels like this person or situation has been very silent, but the energy has most definitely not let go. And here's what Mercury retrograde is stirring back into your orbit. So this is a reading for someone who can feel it, the quiet nudge in your intuition that someone's energy hasn't fully left. Maybe they've gone silent, maybe you've both built up walls. But even though there's been this pause, the bond, the chemistry, the unspoken pull remains. And with the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck, this was, or still is, a connection that carried real potential for happiness and emotional safety, even a shared future. Now, under this current Mercury retrograde, what's rising is a cycle of reawakening, and you might feel them in your dreams. You might sense their name drop into your mind out of nowhere. They could be thinking of reaching out, or spirit might simply be helping you to resolve the deeper spiritual meaning of this chapter. As always, I like to remind you that this is a collective reading, and therefore it is not meant to be for everyone. If you would like your own private reading, there is a link within my bio that will take you to all of my offerings. Currently, I do have some August written readings that are still available, and they are at $55. If you scroll across this way, you'll see all of my offerings here. Let's start here with the Moon card, and in this particular deck, it is represented by the Eastern Jack-o'-lantern mushroom. Now, the Moon card has always been a card of mystery and intuition and the unseen, but in this deck, the Eastern Jack-o'-lantern mushroom adds something deeper within. We can see it has these glowing, almost web-like root system beneath the surface, and it reminds us that even in the silence, so much is still connected. Now, this particular fungus, it emits bioluminescence, a glow in the dark, much like your intuitive connection to this person. So it's not just wishful thinking, you're actually picking up on something real. Your finger is on the energetic pulse of the universe, and you are tapping into their thoughts, their emotions, and their unspoken truths. We have the Four of Swords here, and this confirms that although words might have paused or have been withheld entirely, the energy has remained active, moving beneath the surface like the roots in the forest, quietly growing. The Four of Swords is a card of pure stillness, and in this particular deck it is showing up as the snow fungus. Very soft and translucent, almost ethereal. Can you see how there's these little puffs? And they remind me of the dandelion clocks, and it gives it a sense of dreams floating gently into the air. It feels like there is someone who is resting here, and this could be you, possibly them, but the rest isn't just physical, it's energetic, a soul deep pause, a hibernation of words and action, but not feeling. So this fungus has long been associated with healing and renewal, and that's exactly what this space has been about. It's a moment of restoration where the mind is quiet but the heart is still listening. When we tie this directly to the Moon card, This card suggests that you might be picking up on them in dream space or vice versa, and that you might feel their energy before you hear their words. So this is a time when healing is happening beneath the surface yet again, quietly, invisibly, and yet profoundly. And these sweet little drifting spores, they feel like messages, thoughts unsent or feelings that are unspoken, but they're still moving. Energy is tangible. Now, this Ace of Wands, this is a card of raw desire. And the burn moral is the perfect symbol. This is a mushroom that really thrives in the ashes of what was, erupting after fire, and it reminds us that even in the wake of silence or endings, something powerful can reignite. We can see that in this image, a hand reaches for the mushroom, and you can see the energy rising like heat waves or longing, impossible to ignore. So there's a wildness to it. It's also incredibly phallic, sensual and bold, but also symbolic of life force, of the moment something dormant suddenly awakens. As I mentioned, this is a very phallic symbol and carries a lot of sexual energy here. And this is a chemistry that feels like it is reigniting. There's a lot of desire that is burning beneath the surface. The Seven of Wands in this particular deck is showing up as the eternal light mushroom. And this card, it really seems to carry this energy of sacred protection, not just of resistance for the sake of self-preservation, but for boundaries that are placed with intention and with light. Once again, we saw how the moon card was this bioluminescent, and so too is this particular mushroom. So perhaps during the concourse of the dynamic between you, one or both of you felt overwhelmed or guarded or closed. But with the presence of this Four of Swords here, and now this particular card, it's showing that boundaries weren't rejections, they were initiations, a pause in energy so that something truer or more aligned could emerge. Which leads us to the Ten of Cups. Now, this particular card is often known as the happily ever after, but in this particular deck, the imagery that we're seeing here invites more of an interpretation. So this card came out in yesterday's reading as well, and we can see that we have this one large portobello mushroom, and it's acting almost like an umbrella or a shield. And beneath it, we see these two smaller mushrooms that are nestled close, protected from the elements. It's gentle, it's intimate, it feels very sacred. What makes it really powerful is the symbolic relationship between these three mushrooms. The larger one, to me, it feels like your higher self, ancient and wise and lovingly watchful. And these two smaller ones represent the human you and the soul of the person that you are or were connected to, not just lovers, but soul companions. So something about this connection feels watched over, divinely protected and destined. In this particular card, especially with the message that we're looking at, it's as though your higher self is saying, even in separation, I've held space for this. I've covered you both while you healed and while you dreamed and while the path was cleared. If you found yourself deeply resonating with this reading, especially if you feel the pull of someone that you can't quite let go of, it might be more than just a passing connection. And I want you to know that beyond my tarot work, I host a second space where we dive into soul dynamics and twin flames and twin souls and divine counterparts and the intricate energetic patterns that shape these bonds. So it is completely a non-tarot site, and I am going to link that here in the description. Also, would you like to see where I've been doing this reading tomorrow? So I am camping for a few days in the mountains and in the forest. And that's why I've been using this particular gorgeous mushroom deck, and you can find the link